You know, from the late 1960s into the 70s, people are getting more into the occult, recognizing the ability of witchy women to basically cast spells under men. I think back of the old Twilight Zone episode Jezebel, which I'm not saying is as what do you call it, comedic and romantic as this song, but you see the concept. Now today we're going to be talking about a song that really did the Eagles well on their first album, Witchy Woman. Now written by Don Henley and Bernie Leadon, it was recorded by the Eagles. It was released as the second single from the band's debut studio album and reached top 10 in the Billboard Pop Singles charts. Now, guitarist Bernie started writing Witchy Woman whilst he was still a member of the country rock band the Flying Burrito Brothers. After joining the Eagles, Leadon and Don Henley then finished the song together and would be the only song on Eagles' debut album where Henley has a writing credit. The song was conceived while Henley was living in an old house near the Hollywood Bowl with his flatmate Henry Vine, aka Blitz. Henley said the origin of the song, Leadon came over one day and started playing the strange minor key riff that sounded sort of like a Hollywood movie version of Indian music. You know, the kind of stuff they play when the Indians ride up in the ridge while the wagon train passes below. It had a haunting quality and I thought it was interesting. So I put a rough version of it down on a cassette tape. Henley also gave the song an R&B pulse in his music. Now released on August 1st, 72, recorded Olympic Sound Studios in London, 414, of course on Asylum with the great producer Glyn Johns. Now Take It Easy was the previous single and Peaceful Easy Feeling was the next one. So we didn't really know if the Eagles at the time were country rock or rock country or what was going on. Now, the inspiration for the title and lyrics about a seductive enchantress came from a number of women, although Henley had one particular woman in mind, Zelda Fitzgerald, whose biography he was reading while writing the song. According to Henley, he was suffering from flu with a very high fever and became semi-delirious, and every time the fever subsided, he would continue to read a book on the life of Zelda Fitzgerald, and the character of the song would be a mix of Zelda, along with the amorphous images of girls he met in the whiskey and the troubadour. Zelda, amused by her husband F. Scott Fitzgerald, was known as a wild, bewitching, and mesmerizing flapper of the jazz age in the roaring 20s, and is sometimes thought to be the model for the character of Daisy Buchanan in his novel The Great Gatsby. In Witchy Woman, the line, "She drove herself to madness with a silver spoon," may be a reference to Zelda's time in a mental institution, and a special slotted silver absinthe spoon used to dissolve sugar cubes with absinthe, the popular 1920s alcoholic beverage distilled from the wormwood tree and called the Green Fairy, for sometimes including hallucinations. According to Henley, other influence in the song included books by Carlos Castaneda on shamanism and the girl he knew he was interested in the occult. Now, the song is the first commercially successful one Henley wrote, reaching again top 9 in the Billboard Hot 100. He called it an important song for me because it marked the beginning of a professional songwriting career. Billboard described it as a strong, easy beat, slow rock ballad. Cashbox described it as being midway between Redbone and Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, with distinctive harmony power. Record World said that a tom-tom backbeat and an early eerie touch of hoodoo blend to spell out a smash. Now, Witchy Woman is one of the early songs written by the Eagles, and together with Take It Easy, was also one of the very few songs the band performed every night in the early days. In one of its earliest public appearances at the Eagles, they performed Witchy Woman repeatedly at the opening of an art show in Venice in LA in 72 of works by Boyd Elder, who would later also create the painted skulls that appeared in some of the Eagles' album's covers. The song, along with Desperado, were both used and referred to in an episode of the sitcom Seinfeld. In the episode of Dharma and Greg from the first season, Abby, Dharma's mother, mentioned that she dated Henley, and almost certain she's the Witchy Woman. The song was also used in a 2005 episode of the series Cold Case, titled In the Woods. The episode was set during 72, the year of the song's original release. It is also used in the 2001 movie America's Sweethearts to depict Catherine Zeta-Jones' character as she is getting out of a limousine. Now, it went top 26 in the Netherlands and Billboard top 9, and again, like most Eagles songs at the time, bigger in Canada, top 8. Now, Henley on lead vocals, Glenn Frey on backing vocals, Bernie Leadon on backing vocals and rhythm guitar, and Randy Meisner playing the bass and backing vocals. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the idea of this song did lead ELO and other bands to talk about the evil woman motif. Well, the lyrics of the song Ladies and gentlemen, if you're on a 4-day drunk, they really speak to you. Raven hair and ruby lips, sparks fly from her fingertips. Echoed voices in the night, she's a restless spirit on an endless flight. Woohoo, witchy woman, see how high she flies, alluding to, the broom handle. Woohoo, witchy woman, she got the moon in her eye. She held me spellbound in the night, dancing shadows and firelight, crazy laughter in another room, and she drove herself to madness with a silver spoon. Woohoo, witchy woman, see how high she flies. Woohoo, witchy woman, she got the moon in her eye. Well, I know you want to love her. Let me tell you, brother, she's been sleeping in the devil's bed. There's some rumors going around someone's underground. She can rock you in the nighttime till your skin turns red. Woohoo, witchy woman, see how high she flies. Woohoo, witchy woman, she got the moon in her eye. Now, the goth rock aspect of this can best be described as a very interesting, because the lure of the succubus, which is talked about of all things when we were kings. Plimpton had said, Ali put the succubus on form and that's why she lost. But what we mean by the succubus, a woman is so dangerous with her looks and her body and her style, she can take over your soul in a heartbeat. We've all had situations where they called women call that the bad boy motif, but the bad woman motif has been part of country music. It's been part of Shakespeare, where a woman is so not say intentionally devious, but she's so dangerous, no man can resist her. I've had maybe one or two witchy women in my life, but the thing is, I caught on. I said I've had them, but I've never slept with them because they seem to be so obvious as a witchy woman. What was kind of weird about this song would instigate certain personality traits in the late, early to mid 70s of women who wanted to be witchy women and using this song as a motif. I am sure, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of very available women who were probably, that time of the month, if you know what I'm saying, asked for the song to be played by a DJ. It's not getting played as much on the radio as before because I think it's such a song of its time. It's like the early Beatles song don't go get played as much, or what they call a non-single cuts from their albums don't get played as much in 2025 like they would in 1975. So if you're looking at a good Eagle song, maybe you've never heard before, and there might be one or two people listening to the channel here have never heard the song before, well, like I said, it's the time to listen to it. So again, it's not something that's so obvious that has never been done before, but like I said, the Eagles spin on it is sort of like, like Jezebel, the Twilight Zone episode. That's what comes up when I hear it. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with Buying the Tracks for Eagle singles, let us know what I like, comment, subscribe, or share.